Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In today's video I am going to be going through a unit review. Haven't done a unit review before, so I thought I would split it into two parts. One will be a generic unit review whereby I look at the unit and I assess their performance and just their general overall stats. And the second review that I do will be solely for SBR content. So this review will cover like Dokkan events, their general stats, their team builds, and just their content in general. Maybe long form events and stuff like Infinite Dragon Ball history or events that they're good for. And then I'll do a separate video for SBR. So today we're going to review the latest EZA, the Tech SS3 Broly. He's pretty good, definitely more an offensive card, definitely something you're going to want to possibly run on teams as a floater due to his high damage. Just in terms of the card in general, taking a look at him, he's got 130% attack and defense, key +3 to tech types. After he EZAs, he causes immense damage and massively lowers defense by 80%, and he's got attack and defense plus 120% plus an additional attack plus 12%, and he loses 6% defense per key spear obtained, and he's got a medium chance, which is 25% to perform an additional super attack with 3 or more tech orbs. So his kit overall is definitely offensively built. You're going to want to build crit on him due to the fact that just getting 3 tech orbs is not too difficult on most of his teams, or just in general. You're going to mainly want to build crit because he's just going to be hitting such high attack stat numbers. Plus, obviously, the fact that he's probably going to be a floater if you're going to be running hard content. Due to his defense, you're definitely going to want him to kind of come in and impact the whole performance there. In terms of categories, he's only really crossover category, Pure Saiyans and SS3. So it's a little bit of a problem. He's not on a lot of teams. But we'll take a look at him on every single team and just kind of a generic look at him in general. I think his best team will be crossover for sure, and then his second best team will probably be SS3. But in terms of links, it's kind of the last section that we need to look through. He's got Saiyan Lineage, which is key +2 and attack and defense plus 5%. Berserker, which is attack plus 30% when HP is 50% or less. Prepared for Battle, which is key +2 and attack and defense plus 5. Super Saiyan, which is attack plus 15%. Nightmare, which is attack plus 15%. Limit Breaking Form, which is attack plus 10% when performing a super attack. And Fierce Battle, which is attack plus 20%. Most of these links are not too hard to hit on kind of Saiyan generic based lineups. So you definitely could hit a lot of these links depending on what lineup and what team you're going to be utilizing. In terms of his overall performance, I definitely think the defense helps him. If you're going to level up these links, or you're going to focus on him as a leveling link, this extra 10% defense is going to help him a lot, mainly just because he's already at such a kind of lowish defense base after he gets some orbs. So the first team we're going to look at him on is this crossover team. Just going to run him through the Cooler Dokkan event for a little bit. And basically just kind of see what kind of attack stats, defense stats we can get, his kind of just general performance. So on this rotation he's pretty blessed. He's got double supports, so although he's missing quite a few links, he's got double supports, which is really going to help him out. So he's got 126,000 defense before, that's with Kula, who's 30% support, and Toa, who's giving him a solid possibly 50% defense as well. After he gets some orbs, he's going to be sitting at, roughly 120 or so defense there, which is, a little bit lower. But in terms of overall defense on this team, he should really be rocking quite a decent amount of defense. I would say he could sit around 100k with 2 dupes. That's what my Broly has. 2 dupes in him. So not a rainbow thing, not a rainbow checkup review or anything. And he's also only got like level 1 and 2 links. Just try and go in with the unit as raw as possible. Mainly just because a lot of us aren't going to have a unit rainbow, so there's no real point. on this team, because of the 170% to all stats, and just, you know, with both Vegetos providing support, the SS3 Bardock kind of providing support at a lower health range, Cooler, Toa, there's just a lot of assistance for Broly on this crossover team, and he links fairly well with the SS4 Broly. They both share the Berserker link, as all Broly's do, which is obviously, you know, pretty helpful, because if they get super low on health, they can get buffed up. With the link update, this link's, I don't want to say trash, but it's kind of bad, mainly just because they don't, so there we can see they share Super Saiyan, they share Super Saiyan, Fierce Battle, the Saiyan Lineage, and Nightmare, it seems. So they're getting quite a couple links there. I think that's 4 in total, which is pretty good. The only problem with running them as a rotation is that obviously the second Broly, the SS4 Broly, gains all his attack and defense on Super, which means he's specifically a second slot card. And like I said, I wouldn't say this Broly is distinctively a first slot, first choice tanking card choice, so to say. But they're putting up good attack stats. I mean, this SS3 Broly hasn't, you know, really gone below about 3 million, 2.9, 2.7, 3 mil. When using him, I noticed that his attack stats will generally sit at a minimum around about 2.9 if you're just kind of sitting with you know, a decent team build, decent lineup and everything. So we'll try this next event. This is the Pure Saiyans team, I believe. I'm rocking the Tech SSB Vegeta, trying to create some orbs. But this team, it's more so the 150% leads, but it's also just in terms of build and all that. Obviously you're going to want to run a Broly with them, as you want to do with literally any Broly card. The Broly's link best with Broly's. It's pretty straightforward, not anything strange, but yeah. So you're going to want to run the Broly's together. I've just been running this Tech Broly with them, just mainly because I know that they share a decent amount of links, and yeah, I kind of flooded it with support. I gave Turles to this team, and I gave the Broly Paragus support card as well. Both of those are 40% attack supports, and Paragus and Broly are 40% defense support. So we'll just take a look here at how he's going to do. So we got our 3 tech orbs, which is good. The 3 tech orbs really makes a big difference. He's sitting at 82k defense, which is fine. He's at 150% lead. He doesn't have any support. He, you know, that's good. 80k defense is good. Yeah, okay. It's not going to tank int Goku UI attack, or it's going to be able to hold out an extreme SPR, but that's not what Broly's for. See there, we get the second super. His attack stats are just insane. And if you're going to go crit build on him where you're going to have a couple dupes, you're going to really be able to bust out some high numbers on this card. Yeah, so just going back to the links he shares with Broly is Super Saiyan, Nightmare, Fierce Battle, and seems like it's prepared for battle, or Saiyan Warrior Race. I'll be able to tell you now. Just doing a bit of research. Yeah, prepared for battle. So they don't share Berserker, which is a shame, but Berserker as Link is not as powerful as any of the other ones. Unfortunately, it didn't get the kind of love that some of these links got in the update. So definitely a little bit unfortunate that all the Broly units don't all come with big bad bosses, but I mean, if they did, they would probably be the best units in the game by far, just because of their sheer ridiculousness and their attack stats and their attacking kits. But yeah, so we're just gonna run through with this Pure Saiyans team. I think you could do a good build here. You just need Link with a Broly. This is probably as good as we're gonna get. Unfortunately, we don't get a lot of orbs, or the right kind of orbs. You can see I'm kind of like flirting with, will I be able to get 3 orbs anyway? And unfortunately, there wasn't a way to get 3 orbs here. And I really am not a fan of using orb chaining items. I know that's what they're there for, so don't get me wrong. If you want to use orb changing items and procure massive, ridiculous attack stats for Broly, like 4, 5, 6 million, you're welcome to. You do what you want with your orbs. That's all your choice. You use your items as you see fit. I won't judge you. I'm very proud of you to use your items, and if you're going to use it to clear Dokkan events, or you're going to use it to do any form of content, then you're welcome to. That's what they're there for. They're there to have fun. They're there to use your units. I just don't like using it in a showcase because it can kind of miscue things, because generically you kind of want to provide a view of the unit that is one that's, you know, them in their purest form. That's why I almost don't approve of showcases of units with more than 2 dupes, because I believe that at max the most we can all hope to achieve in a unit is 2 dupes, and at that point the unit's kind of efficiency is maxed out. So we'll run on the SS3 team now. I would say from a Dokkan team building point of view, the SS3 team is so limited that Broly probably isn't the best option in this kind of lineup. But I mean, he can do well. I'll show you in the SBR review video. He does pretty well as a floating option on this team. But the real issue is just there's no secondary card for him to really link with. His links are okay, like he can get 3 or 4 links with some of the SS3 cards, which is fine. You don't need to get, you know, 10 out of 10 links every single time. But the main problem with Broly is that he just doesn't really have a slot where he fits in on the team, and the team itself is just kind of lacking support. It's lacking a lot of the variety that it needs to kind of get it to the point where it can run Broly. It's not got any orb changes, it's not got like anything of substance in terms of utility or support or anything. It's got some good cards, don't get me wrong, it's got some great cards, but it's just not ready to cater to Broly and his strengths. You're better on a pure Saiyans team where you've got at least a much wider array of units to choose from. And definitely the crossover team. The crossover team, I think, is definitely where he's going to shine brightest in terms of casual content, or just wanting to try him out and experience him in your Dokkan farming, or in your LG, you know, not your LGEs because he's terrible in long form events, but just your Dokkan farming, your fun events, just anything like that. Obviously, in terms of the team, we're just kind of watching this build unfold before us. The SS3 team, I just try to keep it as simple as possible. I don't have much going on, so I just don't want to, you know, try and force anything. I don't even have the Goku Resurrected Warrior as a lead, so it's a little bit of a problem for me to build this team properly. I use Bardock, which is great, but you know, trying to trigger the 40% buff and getting low on health and everything was a little bit difficult in Dokkan events. It's just not the easiest thing to do in the world. So we got a nice slot of green tech orbs here for Broly, and we got the 33% support there. So he's got 93k defense, which is, you know, pretty decent in a Dokkan event. That's gonna get you perfectly fine. He's got the attack boost from the, you know, the GT Goku there. I hope you're taking note of the attack stats. Like, the attack stats of this Broly are absolutely out of this world. I mean, look at this, 3.5 million. This is a 2-dupe card that's easy aid. 3.5 million. And if he didn't kill him in one blow, which he will, he would have done a second attack more than likely, or at least done some kind of second attack. Plus his chance to crit is quite high because he's naturally got 5 crit as a tech unit, so you can get up to some crazy crit numbers, like we're talking 30, 32, because you can get 5, yeah, I mean you can get close to 30. It's over a 50% chance to crit, which is crazy from his hidden potential. Beyond that, Broly's pretty good. I like him as a floater. Definitely don't suggest putting him in a main rotation or anything like that if you're doing, you know, content you're unsure of, or you want to kind of use new cards, or you want to try things out. He's definitely a floater. And all the SBRs you'll see later, he's a floater. He's 100% a floater. He's always going to be a floater. So yeah, I definitely think that's his role. His role is to be a high offense floater that just comes in, pops up, lowers the defense for 3 turns or so massively. I mean, 80% defense lowering is a lot. I know people don't really understand defense lowering, but I notice defense lowering. If you played this game for the hundreds of hours that I have, you will notice defense lowering. It is a very, very good ability to have. So yeah, we're gonna kind of rock with this. We're gonna have the Bardock take some damage. I was hoping it would trigger with 40%, but it doesn't look like it did. So we're a little bit unfortunate there. And then yeah, Broly just coming in, big attack stat. Every single time Broly's doing big attack stats. He hasn't hit below 2.7 million, and I can't stress enough that this is just a 2 dupe card. I know it's easy aired, I know it's offensively built, but this is a card that hasn't in any of these turns of not set up a B-pan or this, or had Bardock and Gine kind of popping a utility buff beforehand or anything like that. So it's definitely something we could all look at. So we did one more run, literally just so that we could see Broly on this Pure Saiyans team again. I thought he had a little bit of a rough time in the first one. Maybe with the orb changing and everything, we might be able to have a better look at Broly and just see where he comes out and how well he's doing. Turles doing my great plan with his double attack, because I had all those tech orbs set up and I was going to use them for Broly, and Broly was going to destroy. But yeah, so Broly's sitting there, Broly with Broly, pretty nice. He's going to get his orbs, he's going to get his attack going. Nice decent attack set here, so we can see 89k. He's going to float between, if you got 2 dupes like me and you don't put the defensive equipment on and everything, on 150% or higher leads, he's going to float between about 75k defense to about, on the crossover team, sometimes it can reach 120k. So he obviously, it depends on your team build and everything, but he's not going to be massively struggling for defense, like to the point where you can't take any hits from him or something, or he's just gonna insta die every time you use him. Like I don't ever feel that whenever I use Broly. Like I obviously don't want him to take 1,000 hits, but I mean, I don't want a lot of units to take 1,000 hits. Not every unit is designed to be a defensive wall or a brick house. This Broly is designed to just destroy the opposition. So yeah, I think Broly is good. I like Broly. I like him in his role. I think it helps the team. I mean, like when I was looking at the teams just while building this or looking at this, there's better Brolys to have on rotation. There's better Brolys to run in Broly lineups. There's better Brolys to run with other Brolys. Like, you don't need to run SS3 Broly if you want to run a Broly-centric lineup. But if you want to run Broly as a floater on a Broly-centric team, just to get the links or to get, just another Broly in there, then you can definitely consider that. I mean, he's a great option. He links with all of them. He's got SS3 in his name, so he only shares really the game with like one other unit which hasn't even awakened or anything yet. So yeah, I mean, 100% definitely a unit that you should consider. And for super hard content, which will be in another video, he's definitely a card that you can use. He is a card that you can use to dish out the damage. He's a card that you can use to lower the defense of any tankier unit. And yeah, he's just good option. I like his easy air. It didn't remove his defensive frailty completely, but it's definitely made him a lot more better defensively. It's more defensively viable, and yeah, he just kind of dishes out a lot of damage. I mean, when you're sitting between 2.6 and 3.4 million attack stats casually as a 2-dupe card, that's pretty good, especially considering I don't actually think we've managed to yet give him a insane amount of orbs. He's never picked up more than 7, I think, which is, you know, pretty incredible and pretty important. But yeah, so I thought I would give it one more go on the crossover team, just to get one more attack set basically, because I think we've seen enough to see where Broly lies in terms of the spectrum of units and in terms of just his general performance. You're going to see a really decent attack set here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to basically take Broly into the legendary Goku event, and we're going to essentially just test his defense. I know Broly is not about defense, but it's just basically to show you kind of where your levels of defense are sitting and what you can expect him to take at certain intervals. So this is Broly in the LGE event against the Tech Super Saiyan 2 Goku. No point bothering with the first round, mainly because, well, it's the first round, and if you can't get past that, I cannot help you. But yeah, Broly just doing a lot of damage. Like, watching his attack stats in this video, his damage is just what is insane. He's just lowering that defense, and he's going to work. He's not needing a lot of orbs to hit, 2 or 3 million, and this isn't even a Broly with max level 10 links or anything super incredible. This is just a Broly. This is just a SS3 Broly that's put in work. So I went with the crossover team for the showcase because that's his best team. Best attack stats, best defense, best everything. So here we're really looking at, again, monster attack stat. Just a massive attack stat. And yeah, just doing huge damage. He just cannot stop dishing out the damage, which is, impressive. And I think it's important to take note that this card can do these excessive amount of damage, because that's what his saving grace is. That's what makes him a viable card as a flow down and an option on some of these teams, especially the limited teams. Like, if you haven't been summoning on the Super Dragon Ball Hero banners, or you don't manage to have this card, or you don't have it manage to have a lot of SS3 cards, this guy's gonna help, because SS3, especially SS3, is a super duper limited category, a metric fuckton limited category. It is ridiculous how limited SS3 is. It's just not expanded. It's just not a big enough category. So this Goku's really going to help in terms of fleshing out that category if you're lucky enough to get him, because I do believe he's a viable option. I do believe he has a place on that team. He's got limit breaking form as a link. He's got prepared for battle, which is a slight oversight. He probably need OTF over in the Flash, but yeah. He definitely has a decent kit, and he definitely 120% can assist your teams. And if you get him, I would say easy aim, and he's worth the funds. He's worth the cars. And yeah, we can just see there that Strength UI Goku basically is the point where that Broly loses his mind. It just can't take any damage. But yeah, in terms of final thoughts regarding Broly, I would give him a 6.5 out of 10 overall. I think for non-SPR content, 6.5 is quite fun. I think you can have a lot of fun with him. You're going to see some big attack stats, but that's pretty much all you're going to get. He's not a defensive juggernaut. He's not a utility-based unit. And yeah, just on a side note, he's also really, really good for the EZA stages, for the Kid Boos and the Janembas. Is it Janemba? Yeah, whichever one needs SS3s, that's the one he's really good for. But yeah, thanks, and see you in the next video. Cheers and bye.